Howdy folks, Spencer here, and today Cryptic has put out the very first reveal for the upcoming Wolf 359 inspired 14th anniversary bundle. This bundle is going live on PC on February 15th, and will be arriving on consoles sometime in the later part of March. So I'm going to start off here by showing you the teaser trailer that they've put out, then I'll take a closer look at both of the ships revealed so far in-game, and then lastly, I'm going to go over when we should expect to see the rest of the reveals and announcements for this bundle. As always, chapters are listed down below. And hopping right into the trailer, you have the Cheyenne and the Niagara, which you can see with their TNG era skins. And you can see here that there's also some modernized 2409 or 2410 skins for these ships as well. So I don't know if any of these skins are going to be bundle exclusives. We'll find out closer to release. But you do have the option to have that original TNG aesthetic on the ships, or you can have something that is more aligned with what you'd see on the modern Stowe ships. And that is it for the reveal trailer. So let's take a closer look at both of these ships in game so you guys can get a better idea of what they actually look like. And I want to take a look now at the ship at the left here, which is the Cheyenne class. Now for the Cheyenne, there are some lower tiered versions of this ship in the game, and it's also important to note that the Cheyenne and the Constellation share a skeleton, meaning that you can make this ship look like the Cheyenne, or you can make it look like the Constellation. So effectively, it's two T6 models in one. And if you look at the previous versions of the ship, the T3 and 5, they were all heavily cruiser focused. And here's the various models in the game so far. So the Cheyenne, the Dakota, the Stargazer, the Constellation class, the Constellation Beta, and the Cheyenne. Again, this ship, you can make it look like the Cheyenne or the Constellation or any of these other bits that you have unlocked. Now, heading in game, here is the USS Dunkirk from the Battle of Wolf 359 fight. I'm looking at it here in demo record, and to me, this ship visually just looks like a cruiser. Like it's pretty simple, and there's one hangar bay that you can visually see at the back here. Doesn't mean that it'll have a hangar bay, but I wanted to point that out. Then looking at it from below, like this ship doesn't even have a visible deflector. So I can't imagine this would be too heavily science focused, but we'll have to wait and see. And again, like I mentioned, the Cheyenne and the Constellation share the same skeleton. So let's go take a look at the Constellation as well. So while the Cheyenne looked very cruiser focused, if you actually look really closely at the Constellation here, something you'll notice around the saucer of it is that it has a ton of hangar bays. So I'm curious to see what they've done with the model for the Cheyenne for like the upgraded 2409 2410 version, because I could see them going two ways with this. I could see them making the Cheyenne just a normal cruiser, or if they're also taking some elements, from the Constellation here, I could see them going with a heavy carrier setup for it. And then the question is it a science carrier, which wouldn't make the most sense given that this doesn't even have a visible deflector? Is it a flight deck carrier, which I think many of us would really like to see, or have they done something, completely crazy with it? So we don't have the stats yet, to be clear. Those won't be revealed for probably another week, which I'll talk about here in a few minutes. But yeah, the vibe I get from this and the Constellation is that this is either going to be just a full-on cruiser, or it's going to be a carrier of some sort. And next up is the Niagara, which shouldn't come as much of a surprise given that in the TFO, it quite frequently will make your ship appear like this ship upon loading in. So that's usually a good indication that the ship is going to be player flyable. And this is that 3 nacelled cruiser that we see in there. Again, with the design of this thing, a cruiser makes the most sense for it. It's got a lot of design inspirations from the Ambassador. It's got the Galaxy nacelles there. I just imagine that this is going to be a cruiser. And if that's the case, then the Cheyenne and the Constellation that I just went over will probably end up being the more carrier-focused ship in the bundle. So this is the USS Princeton, and yeah, it's got the 3 nacelles there that are all really cluttered together. Now, I do want to point out that the modern skin for this ship, as shown on the teaser, does have the nacelles spread out quite a bit further. So you can see the TNG era version of it's got everything really grouped up. And then the modernized version of it has things spread a bit further apart. So if you don't like how cluttered things are with the version you see in the TFO, there is going to be skins available with the new version that they're putting in the C-Store and in the bundle that will let you make the nacelles be a bit further spread out. Again, I think this is going to be a cruiser. Just everything about it just screams cruiser to me. And I know some of you are wondering, when are we going to learn more about this bundle? Well, if you look back to the 13th bundle last year, they did the first reveal on the 4th and the second on the 11th. And Fluffle also has a good breakdown here that shows when they've announced things for these bundles in the past. So if we follow the pattern that they've been doing the past couple of years, we're going to be waiting another week for the next set of announcements, because the first announcement happened today on February 5th. We're probably going to be getting the next announcement for the remaining ships in the bundle on February 12th. And then they'll probably do a 10 forward on the 13th, where they're talking about the ships in a bit more detail. And then we'll get the full blog on the 14th. And then on the 15th, it'll launch into the C-Store. So they might do a 10 forward this week, but I imagine that they'll probably wait for all of the ships to have been teased before they really talk about them on a 10 forward. So I think the rest of this week is probably going to be quiet. So if you were hoping for more news, the only answer I have is just be patient and wait for next Monday. Now, even though there's no announcement, we can go in and at least take a guess as to what the remaining ships are going to be. So again, the Niagara class here and the Cheyenne have both been announced. I think the Niagara class here, I think, is going to be a cruiser. Again, it just gives cruiser vibes. The Cheyenne and Constellation, which again can be kit bashed together, I think those are probably going to be a carrier, given all the hangar bays that the Constellation has. For the Escort, I think it's going to be either the Challenger or the Freedom. Kale did say single nacelle though, so that would lean more towards the Freedom. And the Freedom model that they have in the Wolf 359 TFO does have a little gun under the saucer there, so that could be an interesting candidate, but it could also possibly be the Challenger, so expect the Escort style ship in the bundle to either be one of these two. And for the other ship, the one that's more sciencey focused, I'm going to go out and guess that it would probably be the Springfield. I know there's that nebula up here with the little nacelles on it, but I got a feeling it's going to be the Springfield. And as for the premium ship, I'm still leaning towards the Parliament being the likely candidate. And if that is the case, I expect that there's going to be quite a bit of backlash, and we'll probably see another ship added to the bundle. Again, I did a review for the Parliament last week. It's not a bad ship. It's just that it happens to be weaker than every Miracle Worker cruiser that already exists in the C-Store. So it just is not a very powerful ship, not the most desirable. It's not bad. It just should never have been a lockbox ship, and it's not going to be good enough to be the bundle exclusive sellers. So I think we'll see another premium ship added in if the Parliament is what they announce next week. And for those of you interested in this picture that shows all of the ships from the Battle of Wolf 359, I'll have it linked down below in the description and in a pinned comment. But I'd be curious to hear what you guys think of the ships announced so far, and what ships you expect to see announced next week as being part of the bundle. But that is going to be it for today. Again, thank you to all channel members and viewers for the continued support. See you guys around.